The world is full of interesting happenings and full of people eager to capture those moments. Fortunately for us, those often combine and we get to see the footage. And believe you me, there's some really cool footage out there. From freaky accidents to amazing stunts performed by daredevils, this video is going to have you at the edge of your seat. Man jumps from plane with 0 parachutes. This one is awesome and terrifying. Professional skydiver Luke Aikens had always wanted to jump out of a plane without using a parachute. He was aware that it would be a risky stunt, but he was committed to pulling it off. At last, his chance to do the stunt arrived, and Aikens prepared for the jump over a 2-year period. He made countless smaller practice jumps from airplanes and collaborated with engineers to create a unique net that would be both big enough to catch him and soft enough to spare him any serious harm. Aikens boarded an aircraft the day of the jump along with his wife, 2 kids, and 2 grandchildren. He gave them a final kiss before stepping out of the aircraft and falling at a speed of 120 miles an hour. Aikens free fell without his parachute for 2 whole minutes, with his loved ones watching as well. He landed soundly in the net, and Aikens successfully made the jump, becoming the first person to do so without using a parachute. And of course, no injury. Car flipped over by truck tire. Highways are usually safe when everyone follows the rules, right? Well, most of the time. Unfortunately, life doesn't work that way. Accidents happen, and the one we're about to show you was something nobody could have prepared for, ever. The white truck in the middle of your screen deserves your full attention. Its left front tire suddenly comes loose, flying across the road and goes under a black Kia Soul. The collision propels the vehicle into the air, where it flips onto its roof before coming to rest on its wheels. While traveling down the freeway, the detached tire runs into the Kia. The California Highway Patrol, when contacted, confirmed that the small car's driver had miraculously only sustained minor injuries. In relation to the incident, no one was detained. That kinda does make sense though, because although it does look bad, it was simply an accident. The footage itself is remarkable when compared to the other accident videos captured by dashcam. Man is struck by lightning 7 times. Ever seen a lightning strike or been struck? It's rare to see it and even rarer to get struck. Just imagine getting struck not once, not twice, but 7 times by lightning, and that isn't all. Wait until you hear how this man's stories end. This is the amazing tale of Roy Sullivan, a man who miraculously lived through not just 1 lightning strike, but 7. Roy had several encounters with lightning's fury between April 1942 and June 1977. He once sought shelter from a storm in a fire lookout tower without a lightning rod. The tower was then hit multiple times, which led to him receiving a jolt of electrical current. Once more, lightning struck through the metal of his truck one day, knocking him out and setting his hair on fire. Roy made it through the events despite suffering burns, singed hair, and that was probably because of his fear of dying. He formed the not-so-strange belief that he attracted lightning and started taking safety measures during storms. Surprisingly, that didn't work because he experienced lightning strikes while fishing in a freshwater pool, at a ranger station, and even in his front yard. This is the kicker, though. Roy even survived a bear attack. Yeah, Roy bravely defended himself against a bear while still recovering from his most recent lightning strike. The 7 strikes should have been enough, but then to be attacked by a bear as well? Kinda unbelievable, but all true. Shark attacks sea lion. Sharks strike fear into people. All heard horror stories, and Hollywood does not make it easier to trust these animals. They are, however, still predators, as this video shows. Some parts of the video were cut out because it's simply too graphic. A group was out on the water when they witnessed this predation. The great white came out of nowhere and attacked a sea lion swimming by. One can see the red caused by the blood of the sea lion that the shark attacked it. Experts say that these type of attacks mean the ecosystem is becoming healthier in San Francisco Bay. Great whites also generally don't see humans as their natural prey. Their natural prey are seals and sea lions. They really only bite us by mistake or if they're really hungry. I don't really feel reassured by either though. People lift car off cyclist. Ever heard the stories of people who are capable of incredible strength for a moment, brought on by adrenaline and such? For a moment we can become as strong as Superman or Wonder Woman, and then afterwards we're about as weak as, well, ourselves. This accident had a cyclist trapped under a car though. Most people would have waited for the tow truck to arrive to lift the car, but not these guys. One man rallies onlookers and they take up position around the car. Then with an almighty heave, they try, but are unable to release the cyclist with the first try. Their second try is far more successful, and the cyclist is pulled free from under the vehicle. Man seems to be unconscious, as he is unresponsive. Of course, better to be unconscious rather than the other thing, thanks to the courage and brute strength of a bunch of strangers. Female sniper lucky to escape death. War is brutal, and can be even more so for female soldiers. The YPJ are an all-female force which was involved in the Syrian war. The YPJ is closely linked to the male-led YPG, and is a component of the Syrian Democratic Forces. While women from other ethnic groups in northern Syria are represented in the YPJ, Kurds make up the majority of its membership. On this day, a female sniper of the YPJ was busy scoping out potential targets. She wears a blue headscarf, which probably makes her more visible to counter-sniping though. While she was busy looking for her next target, a round hit the wall an inch above her head. She dunked down and was really lucky to be alive. The enemy sniper's aim was simply too high. Short while later, our lucky sniper's smiling about the incident, but the full measure of how close it was probably hit her later. Lucky escape for cop. As seen earlier, highways are orderly, but all that can change dramatically in an instant. You never know what's about to happen and from where it will happen. This incident was caught on camera by the dash cam of the patrol car of the officer involved in the incident. The officer in question was engaged in a routine traffic stop. He stayed on the passenger side of the car for his safety as taught, but where do you think the danger's gonna come from? The officer realizes a car from oncoming traffic is busy losing control and he begins to move away, but misjudges exactly how fast the opposite car is coming. The driver of the black car has completely lost control as it skids sideways across the center divider and then smashes hard into the car of the person the deputy was questioning. But its momentum's so great that it smashes into the patrol car as well and narrowly misses the deputy. Very lucky to be alive after all that. Massive transport plane flies low over Nashville. The C-5 Galaxy is one of the largest military transport planes in the entire world. The Galaxy is able to carry up to 281,000 pounds, or 127,460 kilograms of cargo inside its massive cargo bay. No wonder its presence so low to skyscrapers drew so much attention. These large planes are not allowed so close to buildings. The fact that this one was doing it meant many residents noticed and filmed it. The pilot and crew kept coming around and flying closer to the skyscrapers. Obviously, the residents were pretty panicked because the enormous plane has a massive presence. Later, it transpired that the aircraft was on a training flight preparing for the inauguration of the new governor. They were making sure all was safe for the actual day of inauguration and alarming people in the process. In the end, when the governor was actually brought in, the weather prevented the flight from even happening. So all this was in vain. Concrete mixer falls into a sinkhole. A hidden reality exists beneath the Earth's surface, especially in some areas where water slowly erodes the underlying rock layers. Eventually, when the remaining support is no longer sufficient, the ground collapses inward and creates a sinkhole. Fortunately, these incidents usually occur in remote places. Sinkholes occasionally, though, can appear suddenly in heavily populated areas. A Russian video effectively conveys the gravity of such incidents. A sinkhole's potential danger is not typically taken into account when driving on a paved road. When it does happen, imagine the surprise though. All of a sudden, a concrete mixer is almost completely swallowed by the ground. Authorities determined that a small sinkhole was the cause of this incident. The results could have been far more disastrous had it been larger. Spare a thought for the driver, driving along and suddenly his truck is swallowed by the road. It's gotta be traumatic. Servers attacked by shark. Twice. The unmatched experience that surfing provides is the reason for its widespread popularity. Nothing compares to the feeling of the wind rushing through your hair as you deftly ride a large wave right before it breaks. The sport, however, occasionally has a tendency to turn unexpectedly extreme. Mick Fanning, a pro surfer, encountered a terrifying situation at the 2015 World Surf League Championships. This was held at Jeffreys Bay in South Africa. He realized he was being attacked by a shark when he felt something tugging at his board while he was in the water. The instincts for survival kicked in as he valiantly fought off the shark, which was flailing its fin and tail in the water. He saw a chance and swam back towards the race officials who had come to his aid. He was then saved from the situation by the officials. Amazingly, just 2 years later, the same event saw history repeat itself, which led Mick Fanning to decide to stop competing in professional surfing. Probably lucky to be alive, honestly. BURJ Khalifa Base Jump. The Burj Khalifa in Dubai is the tallest structure in the world, rising to a dizzying 2,717 feet, or 828 meters above the ground. However, the proprietors of this architectural wonder make an ongoing effort to capture the attention of the world with their extraordinary endeavors. They increased the excitement to a previously unheard of level in 2014. Together with the local skydiving club, they planned a breathtaking spectacle that involved 2 daredevil base jumpers jumping off the peak. Locals were standing by to see this spectacle. Then they jumped, and it's truly amazing to watch them soar toward the ground while wearing wingsuits. They broke the record for the highest successful base jump and, depending on your point of view, became the bravest or most audacious people on the planet. They gracefully circled the enormous structure while leaving trails of red smoke in their wake. One of the jumpers reflected on the incident and said that despite the popular misconception that base jumpers are daredevils, their main goal was to feel the thrill of flight. Of course, adrenaline has nothing to do with it. Antares rocket explosion. Space rockets are massive structures filled with thousands of tons of fuel. These machines are marvels of engineering, but they are a recipe for a massive explosion because of what they carry. On October 28, 2014, just seconds after launching from NASA's Wallops Flight Facility in Virginia, an Antares rocket carrying a Cygnus cargo spacecraft exploded. Live television coverage of the explosion was videotaped. The explosion was so strong that it rattled windows and buildings for miles in all directions. The rocket and its payload were destroyed, but there were no injuries during the explosion. One of the rocket's first-stage engines malfunctioned, which was later found to be the explosion's primary cause. The Antares was used to send supplies to the ISS, although the explosion was a significant setback for the program. Thankfully, it was eventually fixed and put back into use. Just imagine being a spectator and feeling and hearing the shock of that massive explosion. Gotta be a once-in-a-lifetime experience. Thank you all for watching, see you all next time.